In a forest in central Florida, a small wooden staircase leads down to a pond that almost invites you in. From the edge, it looks like a place meant for swimming, or for slipping quietly into on a hot afternoon. The water is still, nearly glassy. Pale green algae drifts across the surface. Trees ring the shoreline, their reflections broken only by the slow movement of leaves and insects. There is nothing here that suggests how far the water goes. A few feet below the surface, the pond darkens. The bottom drops away. The color shifts from green to blue. Rock begins to frame the edges of a narrow opening, just large enough for one diver at a time. That opening descends into a vertical shaft, and below it, the cave opens into a space that has drawn some of the most experienced technical divers in the world. This is Eagle's Nest. It is known in the cave diving community as one of the deepest, most complex flooded caves in North America. It is also a place that has quietly claimed lives, a reminder of how thin the margin for error can be in environments that do not allow for retreat. But Eagle's Nest is not known because of its reputation alone. It is known because of what it offers to people who understand how to move through it. We are about to embark on a journey. Over the course of this story, we'll follow that draw into the cave itself, into the geometry of its chambers, the physics of its depth, and the quiet systems that make a dive here possible. We'll look at how divers use helium-based gas mixes and closed-circuit rebreathers to stay conscious and clear-headed in water that would otherwise overwhelm the body. We'll trace the lines that run through Eagle's Nest and the way they divide into passages that remain only partially explored. And we'll examine how geology, hydrology, and human judgment intersect inside a place where every meter of depth changes what the air in your lungs is allowed to be. The entrance chamber, sometimes called the ballroom, sits just below the pond. Divers descend through the narrow tube in the rock and emerge into a vast space where the walls fall away. At around 70 feet down, the limestone breaks into blackness. A beam of light stretches downward, swallowed almost immediately by water and distance. With no visible floor and no visible ceiling, the room feels suspended, like a cathedral carved out of darkness. From there, the cave continues to drop. At roughly 120 feet, the debris cone comes in. Rock that once collapsed from above has piled into a sloping mound, marking where the chamber deepens into branching tunnels. Lines run across this slope, laid carefully by exploration teams. One branch leads upstream, another downstream, each fading into passages that still have not been fully mapped. The floor in parts of the main chamber reaches close to 200 feet. Above, thin shafts of daylight pierce the water through narrow solution tubes, basically small skylights in the ceiling of the cave. On clear days, those beams drift down through the darkness, creating a faint sense of orientation inside a space that otherwise has none. And that can be a problem for divers. Divers who have spent time here often describe the scale as disorienting. It feels larger than expected, larger than something that could exist beneath a pond in the woods. The room curves outward, allowing a slow circuit around its perimeter, a way to understand how far the walls reach before they fall back into shadow. The appeal of Eagle's Nest comes from that architecture. It is open, vertical, and deep. It feels unfinished. It feels like a place where the map is still being written. For technical cave divers, that combination is rare. Most flooded caves are horizontal. They wind through limestone in long, narrow corridors. Eagle's Nest behaves differently. It pulls divers downward into a space that feels closer to a vertical cave than a tunnel system. That geometry changes everything, from the way gas is managed to how decompression is planned. From that point on, the dive is no longer about navigation alone. It becomes a negotiation with pressure, gas, and time, one that continues long after the diver turns back toward the surface. At these depths, ordinary scuba tanks are not enough. The pressure alters how gases behave in the body. Nitrogen, which is what most of the air that we breathe is composed of, becomes narcotic, clouding judgment and slowing reaction time. Oxygen, which keeps cells alive at the surface, becomes toxic under pressure, capable of triggering seizures without warning. To move safely through Eagle's Nest, divers breathe carefully chosen gas mixtures. Trimix, a blend of oxygen, nitrogen, and helium, replaces the air found in recreational diving. Helium reduces the narcotic effect of nitrogen and allows a clearer thinking in deep water. Oxygen levels are lowered to keep them within safe limits under pressure. Even with the right mix, time becomes a resource that must be managed with precision. At 200 feet, the body absorbs inert gases rapidly. Those gases dissolve into blood and tissues under pressure. When a diver ascends, that pressure decreases and the gases that have been absorbed into the blood begin to come back out of solution. If ascent happens too quickly, bubbles form inside the body, damaging nerves, joints, and organs. This is decompression sickness, and at Eagle's Nest, it is always waiting in the background. Divers handle this by planning staged ascents. They stop at precise depths for precise durations, allowing gas to leave the body slowly and safely. These stops can add hours to a dive that only spent minutes at depth. They turn the exit into a careful climb through invisible thresholds. Rebreathers make that process possible. Unlike open-circuit scuba, which vents every exhaled breath into the water, rebreathers recycle gas. It's amazing technology. They remove carbon dioxide and add oxygen as needed, keeping the breathing mix stable. This extends dive time and allows divers to carry multiple gas blends for different stages of ascent. In Eagle's Nest, rebreathers turn a short visit into an extended exploration. They also increase the responsibility carried by the diver. Equipment must be calibrated, sensors must be trusted, failures have to be recognized and handled inside a place where direct descent is not an option. That always sends a shiver down my spine. The draw of Eagle's Nest lies in that balance. It offers a space that feels enormous and open, paired with demands that are exacting and unforgiving. For those trained to meet them, it becomes a kind of proving ground. The main chamber is often the first goal. Reaching it means passing through the narrow entrance tube, controlling descent through deepening water and emerging into the amphitheater of rock below. From there, the cave invites movement in every direction. Lines split, passages drift away. The ceiling lifts far overhead, marked only by the faint glow of daylight filtering down. Beyond that, the cave grows more complex. Side tunnels tighten, false leads branch into dead ends. Some passages slope upward toward air-filled pockets, while others continue deeper into the limestone. Those false entrances have been part of Eagle Nest's history. In a large, dark chamber, it can be difficult to tell which opening leads back to the surface. A diver who mistakes one of those solution tubes for the exit may find themselves in a narrow, impassable shaft, far from their guideline and far from any safe ascent. Training exists to prevent that. Cave divers are taught to maintain continuous lines, to mark intersections, to move slowly and deliberately through spaces where disorientation can be deadly. The cave itself does not change. It is human error that introduces danger. Over the decades, Eagle Nest has unfortunately seen accidents, many involving divers who entered without the preparation the cave demands. Those losses are part of the story, though they do not define the place. What defines it is the way it continues to draw people who understand what it offers. So it makes it so irresistible. For an explorer, Eagle's Nest represents unfinished territory. Its deeper tunnels remain unmapped. Its lower chambers have not been fully documented. Every descent adds to a growing understanding of how this cave was carved by groundwater moving through Florida's limestone over thousands of years. The cave is part of the same aquifer system that provides drinking water to much of the state. Rainwater seeps into the ground, picks up carbon dioxide, becomes slightly acidic, and dissolves rock as it moves. Over time, those small changes accumulate, opening shafts and chambers that later fill with water as sea levels rise. Eagle's Nest is a snapshot of that slow process. It preserves a moment when air-filled rooms were claimed by rising groundwater, locking their shapes in place. For divers, entering those spaces feels like stepping into a geological archive. Light behaves differently here. Sound fades. The sense of scale stretches beyond what the eyes can track. With only a thin guideline connecting them to the surface, divers move through a place that does not acknowledge their presence at all. That indifference is part of the attraction. It strips exploration down to fundamentals: breadth, depth, movement awareness. There's a quiet satisfaction in reaching a place that few people will ever see, not because it's forbidden, but because it demands participation and patience and hard work to get there. Eagle's Nest offers that to those who come ready, and yet, even among experienced cave divers, it remains a place approached with care. Every dive plan accounts for contingencies. Every descent includes the assumption that something could go wrong. That understanding does not make the cave less appealing. It sharpens the focus for those who enter it. At the edge of the pond, none of this is visible. The water reflects trees and sky. The wooden steps lead gently down. A casual visitor might imagine fish, maybe turtles, but nothing at all, perhaps. Beneath that surface, a vast chamber waits. It holds the marks of geology, the traces of exploration, and the quiet weight of history, too. It continues to invite those who seek to understand how far the underground world extends, and how much of it remains hidden. Eagle's Nest sits quietly beneath the trees, holding a volume of space and depth we still haven't fully traced. Even now, there are passages that fade out on the map, chambers that no one has seen yet, and a sense that the cave is larger than our understanding of it. That's a part of what keeps places like this alive in the human imagination, not because they are dangerous, but because they are unfinished. If a place like Eagle's Nest pulls at your curiosity, let me know in the comments what you'd like to explore next. There are flooded caves, sunken landscapes, and human history, not to mention hidden ecosystems all over the world, each with its own story, still waiting to be told. Stay curious, stay current, and thank you so much for watching.